I'm Michelle.
And I'm Beth.
And this is Folkloric. Imagine you're lost in New Jersey. The horrors. It's dark, and you accidentally turn down a road your GPS said would be a straight run-through without the traffic of the turnpike. There are very few street lamps as you navigate the curves of this highly forested street. The only thing you have is your music, until even that cuts in and out due to bad reception. Cell service is a joke, so you can't even pull up your favorite streaming app. Suddenly, there are lights bright behind you. Headlights of a truck that is uncomfortably close, and you have nowhere to go to move out of the way. You speed up and they match your pace. This keeps happening. You are white-knuckled and cursing, hoping you make it out of this forest or find a road to turn off on to let this asshole pass. Just like they appeared, they suddenly disappear. And you know you didn't see a side road or anything. Welcome to Clinton Road. The fun is just starting.
So we're doing Clinton Road.
Yes, the infamous haunted road of New Jersey.
Oh.
Sorry about my voice, guys. I've been sick.
You have been?
I have been very sick.
I was sick before you.
Yeah.
Then our daughter got sick.
Yeah, it's a cootie platoon up in this place, and I can't quite get my voice back 100%, but
we're de-cootying.
We are de-cootying.
Which is really funny if you listen to our other podcast.
And if I sniffle, I'm sorry. I've been trying to not sniffle, but the sniffles are real.
The sniffles are real. They're not generated by AI at all.
Nope, not at all.
So why were you interested in Clinton Road? This is your pick.
Yes. So, I'm from New Jersey, if y'all don't know that. Wouldn't have known by that voice, but I grew up in New Jersey. I did not grow up in North Jersey where Clinton Road is located, but...
Well, let's do the test first. Say daughter.
Daughter. See?
You passed.
Water.
You're in New Jersey. You're a New Jerseyan.
I'd say my son's
name. Is it Jerseyan? New Jerseyan?
New Jerseyan, I think. I don't even know. I'm just a Jersey person. I'd say Jersey girl, but that's just obnoxious.
Jersey Shore?
No. Though I am from the shore. I did live up the shore. See, here's the thing. No matter where you are in New Jersey, it's always
up the shore?
No, it's up the shore.
Up the shore, okay.
You could be in the north, wanting to go to Central Jersey exists. I know because I lived there. A lot of people, there's a big controversy that there is no Central New Jersey. It's only North Jersey and South Jersey. But I grew up in Toms River. And, sorry, our little kitten, Poe, our little black cat.
You're going to hear noises in the background.
Yeah, she's going to be meowing because she's a needy little booger head. And the other reason is because, ghost stories, and it is the month of Halloween.
It is.
The whole month.
It is Scary-tober.
Scary-tober, yeah. Mildly Scary-tober because,
Ghost-tober.
I don't do the horror stuff. I don't do hard horror.
On our other podcast, we are doing a full month of progressively scary movies, but not so much.
Yes, we started out with Cooties.
We're going to just let everybody know that because it's probably going to air
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yes, sorry guys. Spoiler alert, it's Cooties.
I don't think it's going to hurt anything. It's not like it's going to affect box office sales. I think we'll be okay.
But... yeah, and then it's going to get progressively a little bit more scarier and a little bit more scarier. And then we're going to have did we say what it was? Our big...
Oh, yeah, we should we need to tell people.
Yes.
So we're doing an unedited watch-along.
With a craft.
In which you will watch along with us.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot play the sounds because we found out from National Treasure that shit is not going to work out. People will try to give you copyright violations.
Disney.
If they can hear it in the background. So we're going to have it down low.
Yes.
You can watch along with us. We're going to be watching The Exorcist.
The Exorcist.
The original.
I've never seen it all the way through, so this will be an interesting thing. And like I said, we do a craft while we're doing it.
Right.
That will be the surprise. We'll tell you what the craft is then, because we're still kind of up in the air.
We've got two that we're vacillating on.
Yes. So, yes, Clinton Road. that was my big choice. I know you are not familiar with Clinton Road before I mentioned it.
I'm not familiar with Clinton Road per se.
Yes.
So there's always like that haunted section of road. Every state has it.
Mm-hmm.
Every country has it.
Yes.
There's always, it's because we travel extensively now.
Oh, yeah.
And even before that, when you're on horseback or if you're walking, you had a pathway, you had a trail of some kind, and it got scary because you didn't know what was out there.
Yeah.
And now, even if you're in your car, it's still scary. In fact, I think it's scarier now because you have the lights. Our lives are filled with light. We have light at our beck and call. We can turn it on anytime we want. We are conditioned to not be in darkness.
Yes.
So now you get the misty, curvy roads with the overhanging branches of the trees. If you feel closed in, but also it feels too expansive, like it stretches out before you.
Yes. So I'm going to go off book a little bit here. I do have my notes, but I just realized something. So I didn't know this until I left the state. Now, again, I was born and raised there. I didn't move. I lived in New York for a minute when I was little, but I didn't move out of New Jersey to live anywhere until I was 19 years old, and that's when I moved to California and I met you. And that was when I really began to understand that people have no idea that New Jersey has woodlands, that it has wetlands, that there are actually little mountains in New Jersey, that we have, it's part of the Appalachian Mountains, runs right into the little corner of New Jersey. And so it's the Adirondacks.
You have a lot of biomes.
We have a lot of biomes for a little tiny state. I mean, there's a reason why it's called the Garden State. But so many people have this impression of New Jersey as just being the New Jersey Turnpike, Newark, the airport. You know, I get that because that's what most people ever see. Or, well, now the Jersey Shore TV show because...
Well, they only see that one thing, that one section that's...
And don't get me wrong, I got my issues with New Jersey. But there's a part of me that misses my home state. I always will. But there's also that logical part of me that knows, why would I want to move back there? It's so damn expensive. And everyone's an asshole. I'm sorry, but you're all jerks. I know. I had to train myself to stop being an asshole. I know what it's like. You can't help it. You live on top of each other. You're getting made fun of for not being New York. We're angry people. We can't help it. But knowing that, yes, New Jersey has farmlands. There's the Pine Barrens, which are in itself a horrific nightmare. New Jersey's got a lot of weird, because it is one of the older states. It's one of the oldest, not the oldest, but it's one of the older inhabited states in the United States. When we first came here and started colonies, it is the third to be ratified as a state. It has a deep, deep history. And in states like that, I mean, all states have deep histories. They all have, I mean, this country has existed before, Europeans became Americans. It's just anything that has that type of turmoil, bloodshed.
I think a lot of areas have more mystery enhanced in them because of the Native American populations who they already had their mythos here. And then when white people came over to colonize, they kind of adopted some of those or took them, their ways. And one of those ways is the mythology or the lore of those areas.
Yeah.
And they kind of incorporated it into their own storytelling.
I don't know if they still teach, because I don't think they still do, because I don't think my kids learned about them when they were in school. But when I was in school, it was so important that we understood that the Lenape Indians were there before us. And they were a huge part of settlements and just being in New Jersey. And even more so in North Jersey, where they were really, I think the tribes lived more so or longer. I'm not really sure. Most of our freaking area is named, if it's not British named, it's Manahawkin, Weehawken, Manasquan, a lot of M words. They like the M words. So you're gonna, see those influences of the indigenous tribes of the area. Again, it's got a really pretty good history, but regardless, neither here nor there, we're talking about Clinton Road.
But it adds to the mythos of places like Clinton Road, which probably evolved from the trails that were there. A lot of roads follow old trails, especially in the New England areas.
That was the one thing I could not find was when this road was built. It was...
Well, we know it was before 1826.
Before 1826. It was... What I have is that the exact date of when the road was created or completed was unknown, but it is believed to have been sometime during the 1700s, before Clinton Road, before Clinton Iron Furnace in 1926. 1926? No, 1826. And even the town of West Milford in 1834. And West Milford is important because Clinton Road runs from Route 23 in Newfoundland and to Upper Greenwood Lake in West Milford, in Passaic County, New Jersey. Passaic, indigenous name. So
no M.
No M.
It's not got an M in it.
It's not got an M. But it's not the only scary road in New Jersey. I wanted to touch on Shades of Death, but it would have been overkill. Shades of Death, look it up. There's some effed up shit off that road. Lots of weird stuff. Actually, weirder than Clinton Road. Just Clinton Road is the most famous.
Well, like I say, every state has their weird roadways.
Oh, yeah.
Or their scary areas to drive down.
Mm-hmm.
And even in like the wide open areas of like New Mexico and Arizona, you can find some roadways that will just freak you out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've traveled many of them. I just haven't traveled Clinton Road.
Oh, and New Jersey also has a lot of weird stuff. So, weird New Jersey. And that wasn't really my intention, was to segue it that way. But if you ever get a chance to check out I don't know if they actually still sell the magazine. They used to print out a magazine and sell it back in the day. But the two marks that run the website, I'm pretty sure it's still active now. They had a TV show called Weird America or Weird US or some shit. They were the inspiration for all the other states to do their weird. But Weird New Jersey started the whole thing, and they are pretty amazing. And I learn more about my state just from them alone sometimes than actual history. And it's been pretty freaking amazing. Okay, so let me get started. Now that
we haven't even started this.
Well, I kind of did a little bit.
We haven't even started this horrible process.
Okay, so I already said that Clinton Road runs from Route 23
to Milford,
West Milford. It is located in the Wyanoke Wilderness area, and that is near the Northern Green State Forest. It's pretty much like the northern part of the Northern Green. It doesn't go actually through it; it just goes through like a little corner of it. It has got the longest red light. It is a 5-minute and like somewhat seconds red light. And the reason why it's so long is it's because when you're coming off of Clinton Road going on, they gave Route 23 the precedence to keep the traffic at a minimum. So you are stuck there for a while, people. So it's
Bring
not
a
fun.
snack.
Bring a snack.
Something to drink.
Exactly. You're going to be a minute.
friend.
So let's talk about, that was the history. I mean, I already bounced back and forth on that, but let's talk about the humans. So, a well-known mafia associate, his name was Richard Kuklinski.
I wanted to be Krabopolis.
No, it's Kuklinski.
That's too bad.
And a lot of people know him not just because of his, just the notoriety, but there were many a documentary written about him. He is an infamous murderer. He again, a mafia associate, and he admitted to dumping many bodies off into the woods off of Clinton Road, but he was only really found guilty of one body that they found, and that was of Daniel Deppner. Daniel Deppner. And Daniel, he was no saint either. He was a member of the same burglary ring that Kuklinski was part of, and a cyclist discovered him. He was wrapped in a green plastic bag, and he was being nommed on by a turkey hawk. And that was in 1983.
That's what turkey hawk do.
I know. And it's funny because I don't even think they make green plastic bags anymore. Remember, like, the green trash bags?
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think about that. I'm like, I remember green trash bags.
Oh, they don't want you mixing it up with grass.
I guess.
Or something.
I don't know.
Make it easier to see.
So, in 1905, Richard Cross built a castle for his wife, Cross Castle. It's actually a 3-story stone castle-like mansion with at least 40 rooms. But it was known as Cross Castle because it had that stone facade.
Right.
When Cross died in 1917, so obviously he didn't live there that long. I mean, 1905 to 1917. I mean, that's a long time, but not really. His family sold the home to Newark City for $150,000, which
wow, that's pretty good.
That's less than what we paid for our house, and ours is not a castle.
Not in those days.
No, not in 1917, but I guess maybe.
I mean, that's probably in several million.
Yeah, probably compared to today's standards. So soon after, the house burned down, leaving only the stone.
Oh, jeez.
I know. What the hell? It's like go city of Newark.
I mean, it's just sad that something got lost that was probably a perfectly nice.
Oh yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it was crap. Maybe it's because he built it himself. It had shoddy wiring. Who knows?
And I wish I had thought to do a little bit more in.
Maybe the house killed him.
I don't know. I wish I'd done a little bit more research on the house, but I don't know if there really is that much information out there about the house. But people would break in and into the facade or whatever's left over, and they would see markings, and people thought there were Satan worshipers out there. But the city raised the building when they realized I love what they called it. They called it a quote unquote attractive nuisance. It was drawing people in, and it was going to be really a danger for people to be climbing in and out.
Yeah.
Some people thought, and they would say, now granted, this was like back in like the 1920s or 30s. They were saying that if you got too close to the house, some people had seizures, that they were having a problem being, just that in the vicinity of the house, that it gave off bad vibes. So, the house is gone, and I don't think that's still a problem. But the footprint of the house, the foundation area, is still there. You can still find it. You just have to find the bike trails and the little man-made trails that people have.
Right.
Basically camping trails to find it. But you can go back there and still find the footprint of Clinton Road, or of Cross Castle. There are also, I don't know how much you because I know you did your little research too, but did you look and read about the white humanoid figures in the woods?
I did, but I did also like the coin tossing child.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, there are plenty of ghost sightings.
Oh,
and there are a myriad of different types of ghosts, different effects of those ghosts. Mm-hmm. It seems like Clinton Road kind of attracts all kinds of claims.
Oh yeah, I just, like I said, I have like a bullet point of like, I had my humans, and now I'm gonna go into ghosts in a minute. But with the humanoid shapes, it helped me learn something important, and I talked to you about this a little bit. So the shapes that they were seeing, some people believed that it was a group of albino individuals that lived in the woods in a quote-unquote albino town. And one person found odd white scraps of fabric just in like hanging off of trees and stuff. It made me think of something I had heard of growing up. Where I grew up, I lived near Jackson, New Jersey. So to hear people talk about, in the woods, you're going to find the Jackson Whites. And we were always, as kids, led to believe that they were a group of albino people, inbred family, blah, blah, blah. You didn't want to mess with them. Sometimes they'd come into town. I never saw anybody. Nobody I knew ever saw anybody. But they were legend. Except I found out that that was actually a derogatory term used not for albinos, but for I want to say the Arapaho, and I'm probably saying this wrong, the Arapaho Lenape Indians. And I didn't know that it was, and the explanations as to why they were calling them the Jackson Whites is it's either a mix of Jacks and Whites, meaning that they were a mixed group, or the potato, which is a mixed potato called the Jackson White. There's no definitive explanation as to why they were calling them this.
Wow, that got deeper than I expected.
Yeah. But again, we were growing up thinking, you didn't want to get caught by the Jackson Whites.
Well, you don't know. You're going by what you're told, and that's how lore gets passed down and changed over. It's a giant game of telephone.
Oh, it's it's horrible. And now I feel bad because, and it's bad. As a kid, you don't know any better. As an adult, I thought, oh my God, we're making fun of this poor inbred family living out in the woods, a bunch of albinos that are living rough and just, whatever. And then to find it's even worse, that it was a derogatory term towards the indigenous people of the area.
I think it's derogatory to be scared of albinos as well.
Oh, no, I'm saying it was bad enough.
Yeah.
And then it was even worse, So
but we had those as a kid as well. In Missouri, in the Ozarks,
yeah,
you had the stories of the inbred, hillbillies who were, and oftentimes they were described as albino. I think it's because people just see that marked difference of the absence of pigmentation freaks people out. But honestly, I don't see that never really did anything for me. It was more the idea of these people I don't know. It's more about my introversion than it is about my fear of
oh yeah, it wasn't like I was trekking
or anything like that.
They made it sound like they were these deep woods people, so it wasn't like I was trekking out into these big forests.
That's why they can perpetuate it, because you're not going to do that.
Exactly. So that was my little side spin into
the people's
non-diversity.
Okay,
but now we're gonna go into ghosts.
Well, can I go into something?
Sure.
So part of the reason why this area has such an ambiance or this feeling of dread is because the area is a wetland. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of, because of the peat that's in the area, in the streams and in the river, you get this tannin color that happens. And it's the tannins that come through the area kind of make everything kind of yellowish.
Okay.
So you got this yellowish kind of brown, staining that happens. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of lends to the ambiance of this cursed place.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then you have just the local fauna, which are, you have owls and coyotes, you have crickets. It's a very lush area. Because it is a wetland, you have a lot of wildlife.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to hear these, sticks breaking. You're going to hear these weird sounds that normally you do not hear if you're not from the country.
Yeah.
Or from that area. You don't hear it very much.
Oh, yeah.
Stopping at night on the side of the road, you would be wigged the fuck out, even if you had all the lights on.
I don't like to do that on a normal road, and I think what's funny is because where we live, we have such curvy roads, and then seeing Clinton Road, the aerial view of it, it's like, wow, that's a curvy ass road.
But then, just imagine you have a little fog, you have this, these streams that have this
there's a yellowish lot of lakes that, not lakes, but there's a lot of bodies of water that this travels through.
Right, but you have all these curves, you have this ambiance of the fog, and you have the sounds, and then suddenly you're faced with this very large stone structure. Mm-hmm. And it looks like all the world like an altar of some kind or a temple entrance.
Yeah.
But it's You don't know what it is.
No,
you think
you don't
this
know.
is, what the hell is this out in the middle of nowhere? Mm-hmm. And of course, every place is in the middle of nowhere if people stop living there and working there.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was a foundry that had been there for years and years, but people attributed it to something supernatural or something that had a supernatural tendency, like a druidic temple, or they had various versions. Mm-hmm. And again, I think people that go there, people that are in the area, they develop their own lore.
I honestly feel like I need to look this up. I think I might have actually driven on this road at least once. I think we were visiting a friend of ours. I can't remember. I don't know if it goes near Heightstown, because I think if it's near Heightstown, it was before I drove, so I can't tell you people. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 26, so I had to rely on other people.
Hey, not that I didn't try.
Yeah, but I needed to do it on my own terms, and
you didn't want to drive a stick shift?
I didn't want to drive shit. I didn't want to drive anything. So yeah, but I'm gonna have to look that one up, because honestly, I wasn't thinking about that. But the more I keep pondering this road, I'm wondering. I think that was the road we were on, especially because it does have 2 bridges. So that made me remember. I think I might have actually been on Clinton Road at least once in my life. God, that's horrifying, because it was nighttime.
But I think that, like this, the thing they claim is a druidic temple, or it's witches or Satanists or what have you. There's always a different thing.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was, of course, the Clinton furnace. It's an iron smelter.
Yes.
That was built in 1826, which is why we mentioned that before.
Yeah.
And it actually is part of the National Register of Historic Places.
Yeah.
The reality of something doesn't really matter when you're standing in front of it.
Oh, shit, yeah.
You won't care that that's a furnace
Uh-huh.
or a smelter. What you're going to care about is it's scary as shit while you're standing out there. And then you have coyotes that are out there that are wary of people, but you will see them, and they're like little ghosts flitting about.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have those things
the
that
white
freak
shape,
you the hell out.
Yeah, you're going to see that. Speaking of the smelter, so again, off of when you grow up in a state and you're like, oh, I remember this and oh, I remember that. One of our favorite places to go, and even to this day, I would love to go back again, is Alair State Park. Alair is, it was a village, and they have a smelting furnace. They were a mining village, I think. They weren't mining, but like, they had railways that would come in, and they would do some manufacturing stuff and send it off. They had a wood mill and
a lot of milling operations.
A lot of milling, and it became abandoned, and I guess somebody found it, and then the state rebuilt it, and now it's a historical site. But they have a furnace there, and I have had some freaky experiences at Alair State Park. I remember we were looking through windows, and I knew, like, because a lot of the buildings were closed the day we were there, and we're like looking in the windows, and I knew I had to stop looking in one of the windows because I knew something was going to look back. I knew. And then we were walking by the trains, and that was like my favorite. I think that's where my true love of trains really started, was going on the train at Alair Park. And they had the old train set, and I remember they had a few of them that were covered because they were doing maintenance.
Yeah.
And I was about to walk over towards it with my mom, and we both stopped, and both of us, the hair on our arms were like sticking straight up. It was something was saying just no, nope. And the same thing happened over by the furnace. So the furnace, now that makes sense because it is it's kind of like, at the time it wasn't as protected. Now there's like fences around it. Because it is now really dangerous and wobbly. But back in the 80s, there was like a wooden fence, and you could pretty much walk right up to it.
They just didn't care about safety as much. Yeah.
I don't think it was, I don't think the acid rain had affected it as much by then. But I remember walking up to it, and we all were just like, this is not comfortable. There was like a dread. Now, you think 3 bad experiences, but I loved that place. I loved the feeling of it. Just the trails. I was so heartbroken when I went there and they had redone the trails and they did not keep the original not all together, like they had different trails.
Oh, I get that.
I was so sad because those were the trails I remember walking on in that park. And then they took the row houses and built a museum in them. So you see it on the outside, it looks like the row houses for the workers. But when you go inside, there's a quarter of the water wheel, and then it's got like mirror, so it looks like the whole.
Oh yeah,
it's
cool.
Pretty cool. So yeah.
But I can see how, like when you're in those areas and like you were talking about, you get that feeling. There's something about
like it's almost like you lived there before.
Yeah, but it's something about like being in an area like that where it feels like the veil is very thin.
Yeah.
Like at any moment, you're just going to start seeing some weird shit because it feels like there's not a whole lot of reality holding it back.
There's a comfort level for me there. I don't know if it's because I've been going there since I was a small child, but I always felt like I would never get lost there. Like I knew where everything was. In a way, like even now I can picture the park in my head, and I know where the certain buildings are. And if we went there tomorrow, if we were teleported and I can go there right now tomorrow, I would not get lost. I know where all the buildings are. And I may not remember the names of them, but I know where they are located in the park, and I would be able to find them. And I know my happy places, and I know it's just weird. It's always been one of those places that has always called to me, and it always made me think, I know I've been here before, Well,
that's one of those things where, like, my father used to take me hunting when I was little, took me hunting until I shot him with a shotgun on accident. I was very little, holding a very big shotgun. You get a sense of a place that you're at a lot, and even if you don't know where you're at, you know where you're at. It's almost kind of like you have a spirit of the land.
Yeah.
Kind of guiding you, and you don't even think about it. Because there have been times where I thought I was lost, but I kind of knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about it. I wasn't looking there. I mean, it was just woods. There was no, like, landscaping to look for. They were trees, and they all looked like trees.
Yeah.
But you get a sense of where you are in relation to the area. I'm not saying that always happens. People get lost all the time.
Yeah.
And you probably shouldn't use it as a guide.
Oh, God, no.
But I think when you have a connection to a place, you kind of adopt that spirit, the spirit of that land, as kind of your own, and it kind of adopts you. And if that happens, then I think you do have that kind of attachment to this area that you'll always kind of carry with you.
I've never had any desire to get married in a church, except at the little church in Alair Park. That little church has always been, like, to me, that would be the most beautiful wedding, winter wedding. That would be it.
Okay.
Because it's just a beautiful little church. So now that we've gone on a mild trip outside of Clinton Road, though I wonder what the ley lines are up on Clinton Road. And because that could also have a factor.
Yeah, I don't know, because
it is a north-south road,
while
but it does meander.
I mean, there's always conjunctions in major areas, and there's a reason for that, because that is the major area. You get these people that usually they follow along a lot of trade routes and stuff like that. But I don't know about those areas. It's not an area I studied. I know more
I'm
Midwestern.
Just curious if that happens to have any major ley lines. That would be could be a possible reason for not necessarily the actual supernaturalness of it, but the people's perception of supernatural.
It could be just the reason for the draw, because people are drawn to those conjunctions.
Yeah. And also sometimes ley lines kind of act the same way the electricity in a house can cause. If the wiring in a house isn't protected a certain way, it can actually cause humans to perceive of supernatural activity in their home.
Right.
And I wonder if, like, I always think that ley lines probably do a similar thing with your mind, and they give you that same feeling. If you're not, and it's already got a spooky, ooey, whoa, kind of a feel about it.
Yeah.
If it didn't already have that, then probably it would just be a draw. But because it's already got this preconceived creepiness about it that your brain is going to just fill in those blanks.
I think you kind of know when all the weird things start happening in an area, it's probably because there is
something's drawing.
It's like moths to a flame.
Yeah.
Like in our area, our house is definitely it's a throughway.
Oh yeah, we have things that come through here all the time.
And not just things, but people.
Oh yeah.
We have
my God.
We have weird humans showing up. We have there's people drawn to this.
Come and bring us coffee. Not coffee. He brought us a canister of ground coffee.
Canister of coffee.
And left it on our front porch and then walked away. Didn't have a car. We don't have... I mean, there are places nearby, but it's not like that kind of a place.
We're rural. We
had another person come here the other day and offer to cut down the big dead tree in our front yard out of nowhere. She said she was looking for work. I'm like, I'm not gonna. No, okay. So we have transient. It's very transient.
It is.
And the animals, holy shit. If we don't have freaking animals that come through here all the time, that we're just like, what the heck? Why don't we get goats?
I know.
I want goat or a cow. There's some cows down the road.
Deer come.
We do have deer, which is weird because we are in, between two roads. But okay, the ghosts. Urban legends. Okay, but there's a lot of urban legends here. But so there's an urban legend about a boy who was drowned in Clinton Brook. The legend states that if you toss a coin from the bridge over the into the brook, that his spirit will return before it chases you away. Why does it chase you away? Nobody knows. He just is like, bitch, here's your coin. Now get the fuck away from my bridge. Stop throwing coins at me. In this economy? But apparently he died when he was dared to stay on the bridge while his friends drove to Route 21 and back. I'm not sure if it was winter and he died because he was cold.
Exposure?
Or fear. But somehow...
Well, even in like any other season, because it's wet, if it's a wet time or anything like that, you can die of exposure.
And honestly, I'm not sure how far away the bridge is to 23. So I mean, it's a 10-mile road. So I'm not sure how long it took them to drive out there and back.
I do not know.
I don't even know what the speed limit is on it.
Well, we don't know what time period was it in.
No, because it's because, again, urban legend.
Yeah, so it could be any time period. If it's like the 1800s, it could take a while. So
then we also have the blue Camaro, which, because, you were in New Jersey and you got to have a bitchin' Camaro ghost. And this Camaro can be seen without its driver. But it's supposedly the ghost of a girl who crashed her Camaro in 1988. She was going on those tight curves, dead man's curve, and she hit a wall. And supposedly, if you are driving on the road and you start telling her story about how she hit that wall and how she crashed her Camaro, you manifest her. And the Camaro comes vroom, vroom, vrooming along the road.
The bad driver at the wheel.
Oh my gosh. And I had myself a bitchin' Camaro because it's fucking New Jersey.
And apparently that's your first car.
Most people...
For every New Jersey.
I think most people, at least back in the day, either an IROC Z, a Trans Am, or a Camaro. I think it comes with or without primer paint. Mine did not have primer paint.
I think to be authentic, you should have the primer paint.
My girl was too pretty. She didn't need it. She was candy apple red. She did not need.
She had not been extensively worked on.
She was a dual. No, she was not. Because she was a dual exhaust. She was pretty. T-top. I loved her. She couldn't go fast though. She was only like a 2-cylinder. She putt-putted. So there is also ghost park rangers. And
those are the worst kind. I know. They're always around when you don't expect them.
Supposedly they died, and nobody knows why. I knows how, but they died in 1939 on the job, and a lot of hikers encounter them. And honestly, these are the kind of ghosts you want around because they're just checking up. They're making sure if they see campers out, they'll go up and ask them if they're okay, if they need anything. And people are like, "Oh no, we're fine," and then be like, "They're dressed a little weird. It's kind of old-fashioned-y," but they also sometimes now on the creepy side, people will be in their tents and they'll hear sticks breaking and they'll hear, somebody walking around their tent, which could be an animal.
A bear.
It could be definitely could be a bear. There are bears in New Jersey. We got some bars up there. But they
picnic baskets.
Yes, yogi. So yeah, they do like to check out the campers and the hikers and make sure they're okay.
I think that's one of those legends. It's kind of like, the deer lady. Where maybe not quite the deer lady, but I'm saying like helpful spirit or a spirit that has its own job to do and continues doing that job. I'm really conflating because we're talking about ghosts and deer lady is not a ghost.
No.
Completely different thing.
There's
I'm saying just in a similar aspect, they're helping people.
Yeah.
Maybe not helping everyone, but helping some people.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like almost like a judgment on them. So if you're a good person doing good things in the forest,
they're going to check on you. And if not, they're going to creep you out.
Yeah.
Well, and it came down
if you're smoking the weed, they won't be helping you quite as much, and they'll take your weed.
And I mean, it came down to people were going up to the ranger station and asking about I'm so grateful or who are those guys or whatever it was, and they're like, we didn't have anybody out. That sounds like the two dudes that died.
And that's always the reveal, right?
It's because like, that sounds like Bob and Steve. They died back in 1939. They were fucking in the woods.
You have the ghost encounter, and then you find out
they fucked that bear.
you find out later that they've been dead the whole time. It's like a Bob's Burgers joke,
They were dead the whole time. So there's also your quintessential ghost girl, hitchhiker, but she appears during bad weather. So obviously she's not a good omen.
She'll be on the side of the road, in the road, and then
there's always a woman in
her.
White type of situation. The ghost girl on that hitchhikes. There's claims that people have seen. Some people claim to have seen people dressed in weirdly odd fashion at odd hours. My question is, what the fuck you doing out that late driving down a dead road? Unless it's something. I'm sorry, at 4 a.m, take the parkway or the turnpike.
I don't know. Some people probably that's just their normal route.
It would be a freaky normal route, especially with that 5-minute black.
If they're going to Milford, it's direct.
In a meandering way. If you again look at the aerial of that, it's not a fun road. I mean, it's fun. It looks like it would be a nice Sunday drive type of a road, but I don't see it at 4 a.m. or 3 o'clock in the morning. Witching hour, spooky woo woo type of. Oh yeah, no, that's not a.
Okay, so here's where I would do that.
I know. I would do it too.
I would do it just because I would feel more at home traveling that road in the middle of the night when I feel a little bit afraid than I would on the turnpike.
True.
I think I would feel more, I don't know, cozy? Is that weird that I think I would feel...
I think it would depend on how fast I needed to get somewhere.
I don't think I'm like in a hurry if I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's more about the ambiance of the place. Again, it's one of those things where when you have a feel of something, and that is why people come here. Mm-hmm. That's why there's so many ghost stories. People are drawn to it because it's not about the ghost. It's not about the scare factor. I think it's more about just the draw of the land.
Yeah.
I think when you have like this causeway, and like we were talking about before, is the ley lines,
mm-hmm.
but a causeway of energy, you have a pathway, and this pathway is widened out to a road, and then from a road to, I think at one time it wasn't just a road, it was like a highway, right? Like a small highway.
No, I think it's always been a little bit of a road. I think it was a path that became a road, and that the highway was built around it.
Oh, it was built around it. Okay.
Because remember, West Milford came after the road.
But everything surrounds this thing.
Pretty much.
So there's like, it just keeps being a focal point.
And there are houses on it, but they're very spread apart and mostly at the ends of the road.
Right, right. And where was the cross castle in relation to?
I honestly don't know. I really am
I
not
wonder
sure.
if it was like
but it was
near,
pretty. They said it was, in the woods a bit.
so I wonder if that is why it just didn't sell very well.
Well, again, not to be weird, but so the area I lived in with my ex, it was our house, or his parents' house was a very, very old house, almost like, I think at the time it was like 150 years old, and that was back then, and it had a feeling about it. There was some weirdness about that house. His grandmother had gifts. She talked to spirits all the time. And it's funny because if you knew my ex-mother-in-law, she hated her mom for those things and wouldn't really acknowledge it. She went like the complete opposite direction of that life. And that
She wasn't superstitious.
she wasn't even little stitious. She was a bitch.
I so set you up for that.
I know.
Tore it down.
So his grandmother, to the point where he had a girlfriend and she asked about her and he had never even brought her home. Like, there's no way his grandmother, who didn't drive, didn't leave the property, she would not have known about this girl. The spirits told her. So the spirits also told her that nothing would prosper on this land. Now, once upon a time, this land was like acres and acres, and it was chicken farms. And their farmhouse was one of the last of the original homesteads in that area. And then, like, so this company came in, multiple companies came in and built this loop of a road next door to them, and these McMansions were there. And like I said, company after company would build them. Some families would move in, some people would move in, people would move out. Nature would take over immediately. You'd see weeds pushing through asphalt, and it was just always amazing when I would go back there. I would walk back there with the kids. And I always thought about what he had said that his grandmother had said, that families. And it's funny because after we left, after I moved out with the kids, and his parents sold the property, the people who bought it immediately tore the whole thing down.
Oh, yeah.
So the houses are both gone. And it's just so heart-wrenching. But the person she talked to, the ghost that she talked to, was a ghost of an indigenous person. And on the equinoxes and the solstices, you would hear things outside in my yard. And I remember one summer, because we didn't have air conditioning, you had the windows open with the screens in them, you could hear like somebody was, like they had beads on a string or something, and like you could hear the beads being like moved, like they were walking, and you could hear it. And it went from outside in the front, through my living room, through my kitchen, out the window, and across the yard. I knew it. I mean, it was like, oh my God, this is so weird. You would hear somebody knocking on the living room wall. That's where the original door was to our house. When my ex's sister, or his sister, and her ex-husband redid that apartment, because it was an apartment below the garage, which was separate. They moved the door from the living room to the kitchen. And so you would hear sometimes somebody knocking on the wall where the door used to be.
They shouldn't have moved that door.
They shouldn't have moved that door. So, yeah, there is a lot of history, and there was a reason why I told that story, and I don't remember what.
Oh, no, but let me tell you a story.
Okay.
So I've got one.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with Clinton Road.
Okay.
Just going to go off
Yeah, I've been doing
thing.
it all night, because this is what you get when you're sick and you're tired and you haven't slept because the kitten kicked you out of bed.
Sure. So, when I was a kid, I was probably around, I think, 8 or so. My grandparents had a farm. And outside the farmland area, because they had like maybe about 20 acres, outside of that was all wooded. It was a big wooded area. And I used to go back there and play. And there was a small clearing in this wooded area. just a natural forming clearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go back there and play. And then I brought my cousin back there to play. And we would tell my grandparents we're going to go back to the clearing and play.
Mm-hmm.
They never said anything about it, so we would always go and play. And we built like kind of like play stuff. Like we had a seesaw that we made out of like wood.
Yeah.
We had like a fallen tree that was there, and then we put like a large branch on it, and we would
play seesaw,
teeter-totter back and forth on it. Just weird stuff that kids do when they're bored.
Oh, yeah.
And I just spent so much time there as a kid, and it was like several years that we did this, or that I did it. My cousin was only there infrequently.
Yeah.
One day I came home, or came to their house to spend the night, and it was gone. They knocked it down.
Oh, no.
They were knocking it down to build what is now called UARCO, or what it used to be called UARCO. It was a factory.
Uh-huh.
And I was heartbroken. And I went out there in the area that used to be the clearing and stuff, and it was a big pit. They dug into it. I guess they were digging in to make the sub part of the factory or whatever. And I knew right then, and I had even told my grandmother later that day, because I was crying, and I was inconsolable.
Yeah.
And I just kept telling her they just killed the land.
Yeah.
I was so upset. They found skulls. They found bones. They had to stop because it was a burial ground. I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
So there were all these, pieces of things, and this is a Cherokee area. But they found all this, and they had to stop production so that it could be exhumed. They had to go through this whole lengthy process. It took years. They finally did build over it. I guess they took out whatever they had to take out, or came to probably a very heartless conclusion to go ahead and continue, since they already destroyed it. It wasn't our parents' land or my grandparents' land. It was outside of theirs.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I was playing on basically public land or someone else's.
Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah.
Someone else's own land. They didn't even know there was a clearing there, and they'd lived there for pretty much their whole lives.
Uh-huh.
They didn't know there was a clearing in that.
Aw.
And I'd been playing in that clearing that whole time. And when you were talking about, the door being moved,
Uh-huh.
I understand that, because when the trees were gone, when the hole was dug out, it's like they moved like this whole life that had been there. And it just resonated with me so much that when it was gone, I felt empty.
Oh, yeah.
And and I'm not trying to add mystique to it, because there happened to be Cherokee.
No.
Possibly Cherokee. I do not know if they were. I was a kid. I have no idea if there were actually Cherokee there. I do know because I saw skulls in the ground, or a skull.
Uh-huh.
So I know there were other things there. But I was too upset to really focus on that. I didn't care about the skulls so much as I cared about the land.
How it freaked me the fuck out as a little kid seeing a skull.
I don't really have that issue. It just didn't. I was so upset at the land being gone. It didn't click in or even bother me. I was more bothered by the land being gone. Because I was a selfish child. As a child, you want your thing to be there. And my thing, my comfort, the one area I could go to and feel safe and comforted was in this empty clearing in wood.
Aww.
But that is the thing, though. And it is kind of like this with the encroachment of houses on Clinton Road.
Uh-huh.
Is whenever you do have that encroachment of people entering into an area and just kind of terraforming their own shit.
That was my point. I'll get back to it in a minute.
Yeah, when they tear out the soul of the land
will take it back.
The land gets angry. And I fully believe that, because that place never ran right. That factory never. My dad worked there for years.
Yeah.
And they fought it tooth and nail to keep it running, and it kept breaking. The machines kept breaking down. They never could get anything, and it ended up being closed. And guess what it is now? It's a jail. So if that tells you anything,
Ooh, those inmates must be fucked up.
right? It's a place of misery.
Yeah. I mean, so I think about the road, and I think about not just the weeds coming up through the road, but like houses. If a family sold a house, or just anybody sold, if you weren't a family, they did not live there very long. There was one house. The gentleman was building it, and we actually were going into it because he let us. It looked like a castle, it looked like a black castle, kind of like Cross Castle, I guess. And he let us go in and tour because he was so proud of it. Total stranger, and we were like looking at his house. We had the baby and everything, and he's like, "Come on in and look," and we're like, "Sure, let's go in."
And that's how I got kidnapped.
He had hand-carved wooden cabinets brought in from Germany for his kitchen. But the room that I loved the most, because I would have this, was he had a sitting room that had these a peaked ceiling with wooden beams, and it was painted like a night sky with gold stars. It was beautiful. It had a very fantasy European, medieval, Renaissance, whatever you want to call it.
I get that.
It had that flair. Like he was mixing a bunch of different genres, but it was working. But he never got to finish it because I think he either ran out of money or something happened, and then it went to ruin.
Right.
And that happened a lot. Those houses would get abandoned, and maybe somebody would come by later on and build them up, but a lot of them, and then people would come and a new company would come through. And even the house across the street from us, shit, we had kids over. We would torment the teenagers that would try to break in and steal the copper wire. We would throw bottles over the roof of the house because they would crash on the other side just so that they would freak out, and you'd see them running out because our house had big poplar trees in front of it, so you didn't even know that there was anything there. It just looked like a detached garage.
Right.
So in the back of this old farmhouse. So yeah, I mean, it took a lot. And actually, the dude who bought that house across the street, it kept getting robbed until he brought in his girlfriend with her little kid, and they got married, and then
all calmed
everything's yeah, because the indigenous spirit told my ex's grandmother that only families will prosper, that everything else is doomed, that they curse the land, that only families, because family love, it had something to do with the love of family. It was a very sweet thing, and the fact that he always remembered that, and knowing who the person he was, and not to knock him, but how he had issues with family, and even with his own family that we created.
Right.
He never forgot that, but she was a very important person to him.
Yeah.
So,
I think a lot of that speaks to the impermanence of things, and we want to hold on to things. And I think when ghosts, spirits, and I don't have the same belief you do in ghosts and spirits, but I do believe that things tend to stay where they are. They want permanence, but it is always a fleeting thing, and we try to hold on to these places. We try to make them our own, and when you do that, you do put part of yourself into it.
Yeah. And
so while you believe that ghosts are spirits or have anima, I believe they are recordings, and we are merely
in both.
Yeah, that I'm merely just seeing the reactions that are pre-programmed in. So I don't know for sure. I'm not saying I know this. I'm saying that's what I feel, and I am open to change. But so far, I haven't seen anything different to make me believe otherwise.
So I think the reason why my ex's mother disliked her mother so much is apparently this woman was able to predict things. She could read palms, but she knew when bad things were going to happen. Her little girl, who was born between my ex-mother-in-law and her younger brother, died because she was sitting on someone's lap and she pulled a cup of coffee onto herself and scalded.
Oh no.
And I think she was maybe a year old, and she died. And I think my ex mother-in-law never forgave her that if she was able to predict all these things, why didn't she stop this from happening? You can't.
You don't get a choice.
You don't get
to choose
she
what you see.
couldn't see her own stuff. She could only see other people's stuff. So again, and that's not a matter of me believing in it or not. It's just the stories. I loved listening to people's stories, whether they were angry or not. And sometimes.
But that's part of Clinton Road.
Yeah.
These are stories. These are lore that's passed down, even if they're just flights of fancy made up by children to mess with other kids or teenagers who come out, they drive out there and they make up a story. Mm-hmm. They're adding to the lore of the place. And the one thing that it does, the one thing that all these stories do is keep alive the idea of a place. And in that, we gain permanence. We gain not just Clinton Road as a road that goes from one place to Milford.
Yeah.
But you gain a place that has memory, that holds stories.
It does.
When you do that, you make it real for you. You make it real for the people that listen to it.
Yeah. So I talked about the more mild ghosts. Now we're going to get into the little bit more creepy ones. So not only do some people see people dressed in odd clothing, but they'll see people who just stare at them. And just stare at them.
That would be me.
And then when they try to get, do you see this person? They're gone. That would be a little bit fucking with me. There is also, the dangerous curve. Kind of like a dead man's curve type of a thing.
Sure.
It's called the dangerous curve. And it's part of Clinton Road that has had the most crashes and deaths. And the legend says that if you park there, you can hear screams and crashing sounds and maybe a ghost or three. So I wrote sounds like a good fun Friday. I don't think it would be fun to park and listen to other people's death throes. That to me, that would be.
Okay, here's my worry about that is that I would drive there, park, listen to the death throes and stuff, and then I'd have to wonder, did I survive the drive out there?
Or am I dead too?
That's what I'm saying. Did I survive it? Am I dead and listening to other deaths?
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't do things like that.
So now, my last ghost story is to me a fun one because it is so steeped in lore and fantasy that you don't know what end is up. Now, I have heard about the phantom headlights, the truck lights that follow you. My grandmother actually tells a story when they lived on Peskin Drive in New Jersey, Peskin Drive. I don't even think there is a Peskin Drive anymore. I couldn't even tell you where Peskin Drive is. I just know that's what it was called because Nana talked about it a lot. And my aunt, my great aunt, all of them had varying different experiences on this road of being chased by headlights at night and then the car disappearing. So now I know it's not. God, now where the fuck is Peskin Drive? I'm going to have to look that up. I hadn't thought about it until this moment. So I wonder if it's near Clinton Road. No, they didn't live in North Jersey. I don't know. No, I think it might be in Howell because that's where they lived at the time. So it might be in Howell. Okay. So that's not North. That's Central Jersey. So, this phantom black truck supposedly follows you, and it's supposedly a man named Giles Jones. He was a hate-filled, cruel man who liked his privacy, and he would chase people who bothered him down the road with his big black truck.
I don't know, man. I like Giles. I don't like him, but I like the idea of Giles.
So Giles
sounds like he should be a watcher, watching out for Buffy.
So after he died, apparently people would still see his truck and hear him, and he would still haunt the people. If they were going too close to his, he would chase people away that got too close to his homestead. So there's another guy who I think his name was I forgot to write his name down. It was Jim something. How did I not write his name down? I did not write his name down.
It's going to be a Bob, Jim Bob.
It's going to make me mad is what it's going to do. Well, regardless, he actually heard a crash or something, and he heard gunshots, and he went out into the middle of the road, and there was a car that was crashed in on 4 sides, and the people inside obviously didn't survive. He doesn't really exist either, but neither did Giles Jones. These are all urban legends. There's no proof of these people existing, but they are the names that were given to these people involved in this chase. But also I've heard stories, and I didn't see any of my information about this, but I also heard stories about people who were chased by like big like trucks, like manufacturing transport trucks.
Sure.
And they would chase them down the side roads that would lead to the furnace or whatever. And but those motherfuckers, they ain't ghosts. They actually freaking chase people, and they will like watch. You can do the whole like the Bob's Burgers thing where he hides in the woods and they turn off the lights and everything. They will hunt you down. I've seen videos of these people.
We have movies like Maximum Overdrive, and
I go for Bob's Burgers.
What you go for is Bob's Burgers instead of the giant truck trying to chase people down the entire movie.
Nope, I was thinking of Bobcat Goldthwait and his big old candy cane truck, and he's gonna beat your ass. That's what he says. He says, I'm going to pound your ass. That's
going to pound your ass.
So we had the humans, we had the ghosts, and now we've got the weird. So Wolfie. Did you read about Wolfie?
No.
Oh, Wolfie. So Wolfie, he's either an albino hellhound or an overly large black dog with red eyes.
Aww.
It could be all of these.
Either way, adorable.
He's either a guardian of the road, or he's there to keep people from dying. He will chase cars. He often keeps pace with them, going 70 miles per hour plus. But then he'll disappear around a police car or near the end of the road.
Aw, he just wants a friend.
He's just trying to play chase.
That's adorable.
So, yeah, they named him Wolfie.
See, now I would be the one that gets killed because I'd pull over to pet him.
So Wolfie might not be alone in the woods, though. So back in the 70s, there was a place called the Jungle Habitat. And in 1976, it was shut down. And this was a zoo that was located near West Milford. They believe that some of the animals were either set loose or got loose in the woods. And they crossbred.
Oh, God.
Causing mutations.
We're like the island of Dr. Moreau.
I know. So they would have, monkeys and donkeys. I don't know. There's this...
A monkey donkey?
A monkey donkey or tiger...
Is this going to be a Michael Scott
penguin
thing where he just starts naming 2 things?
I did say a tiger penguin.
A seal with an octopus.
Was a meerkat and a heron. So again, it's odd, unbelievable, but in their defense, we have had in New Jersey.
Was there an actual zoo there?
Yes, it was called the Jungle Habitat.
So there was one. It's not just like some story.
No. The zoo was real. So I was going to say, in their defense, New Jersey is known for having weird jungle habitats. Six Flags Great Adventure has the safari. It may not have it anymore, but it had a safari. You could drive through the safari. My mom almost stole a baby baboon that was sitting on the rearview mirror. She was so tempted to roll down the window, and we're like, that thing is going to get big and murder you. She loves monkeys, but she wanted to touch that baby baboon so bad. It was adorable in her defense. It was a little thing.
And still would have killed her.
Oh, yeah. My grandmother, back in the 80s, had a small gray Chevette hatchback. And we almost got mounted by a fucking rhino driving through the goddamn safari in that gray Chevette. Okay. So, yeah. And then there was also the Tiger Lady. So you all think of a fucking Tiger King. But before the Tiger King, there was this woman who raised tigers in New Jersey. She had a habitat with about 15 tigers that she raised. She was rescuing them. I don't know.
They always say they're rescuing them, and what they're really doing is really using them for profit.
Well, it's another one of those things that I just remembered because I really wished I had done my research about it. I just remember we always, much like the Jackson Whites, it was a thing we always heard about as a kid. Yeah. I remember them I think they shut her down when I was either a late teenager or an early adult. I remember it being on the news that they had finally just taken her, but because her fucking tigers kept escaping, and you'd have a tiger running around Jackson or some shit. So, and I think sometimes the animals had escaped from. I think there was a history of animals escaping from Six Flags Great Adventure. I could be wrong about that too, but maybe my memory might be wrong. So. New Jersey, for some weird reason, likes to have their fucking jungle habitats and safaris that you can drive through.
We had those, not where I lived, but my grandparents had driven me what seemed hours. I think it was in Springfield, Missouri. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. But it was like the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom themed thing. And you could drive through it. I don't know if it was Springfield. I was very young. I don't remember exactly. But you would drive through and you would see all these animals. Mm-hmm. And I remember, like you could feed them they gave you like stuff to feed them. And I'm like, this seems dangerous.
Do you remember when they did the, not ragtop roofs, but when they would put the vinyl on the roofs of cars?
Yeah.
So I remember when you would go to Great Adventure, if you had a car like that, they would warn you. You don't want to go through here. And I was with my grandfather that time, and we had a carload, and we were in a big old station wagon. Oh no, we were in his Duster. And the car in front of us had that vinyl roofing. And I remember him going, that guy's going to pay for it. He's going to pay for it. And needless to say, the baboons got that car. I remember ripping that. They were up there just pulling up that vinyl on that car. And I just always remembered that. Idiots.
My father, I don't remember where this was. It wasn't the Mutual of Omaha one. Uh-huh. But we were in my mother's Maverick. Mm-hmm. She had this blue Maverick. It's a very small car. If people don't know, it's like a hatchback kind of. It's like a Mustang if you take all the Mustang out of it, and it shrinks up. And it shrinks up. It's just the muss part.
Oh, not even the Stang.
Not even no Stang.
You took the Stang out. You left the muss.
But the ostrich had come up, and I guess my mom had wanted to feed it or whatever, and then it got aggressive.
Oh no!
So she rolled the window up, and when she did, it kicked the. No, I didn't get its head stuck. I know that's what you're thinking.
I was thinking that.
When she rolled it up, it got mad, and it kicked the mirror right off the car.
Yeah. Bitch, bam!
Nothing to do with Clinton Road. But
funny as hell.
If you're ever on Clinton Road,
think about that
and you have an ostrich, do not roll your window up without feeding it.
Or don't roll your window down at all.
Either one, but feed it first. Then roll your window.
And if you're driving a small gray car and you see a rhino, just book it.
Yeah.
Don't stop because you don't want to see what happens. So, my last thing I'm going to talk about before I hand it over to you completely is time issues. So, apparently, Clinton Road is also a bit of a time vortex of sorts.
Time dilation.
Ish. So it says that people have been known to lose time and gain time. Mm-hmm. They sometimes they start on the road and it's daytime to only end up at night, even though it's only a 10-mile road. Some people have lost up to 30 minutes. Some people have traveled down the road in 10 minutes flat, and there's just no way you could travel 10 miles, even in a car, 10 minutes.
If you go 60 miles an hour?
Maybe. You're going to go 60 miles an hour on those curves?
I don't know, maybe. No, I agree, though. Time dilation happens in areas in which the veil is thin. If you are traveling or if you're walking through an area and suddenly you don't really know where you're, where am I? Why am I facing this way? Why are we here? Why am I facing this way? Or you don't really know why you're doing something, and it's because you lost some time and you're trying to catch up.
I find that happens to me sometimes when I'm driving.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I think a lot of times, and this is just my belief, it could be, this is Everybody's got their beliefs, but mine is that it is a thinning of the veil or a thinning of the reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe in linear time. Linear time is the construct of humans. Nothing else follows that but us. So I think that when time dilation happens, it's because you've stumbled through an area of kind of like quantum entanglement,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a relation between two particles. It's more a relation between two places or two spaces that are not necessarily on the same plane. I know I'm getting too deep into
I just think it's because I'm too stuck in my head and I wasn't paying attention and I was on automatic pilot and there I am.
That is also possible. But in relation to the Clinton Road thing, I think that you could probably say that a lot of this has to do with the ambiance of the place itself, but I think also there's a possibility that it's just a thinning of reality there.
Oh, yeah. No. There's just a lot. It's a busy road for being
Sure.
a not so busy road between the human interaction, the human horrific interactions, and just the downright weirdness of it all. And it's, again, you've got a piece of land, you've got a road going through a piece of land that is historically significant. Again, we don't, to what extent is the bloodshed of the Revolutionary War and even the Civil War these battles were fought all over, and these are the two major wars that two of many major wars. We've got the French and Indian War, and there's so many other battles and just not even wars, just bloodshed that happened in our country,
or just
the
loss.
creation of our country.
Sure.
And just due to hatred and ignorance. And you look at that, and then that taints the soil. It takes whatever might have been innocent and just happened to be an energy of sorts, and it'll taint it. And we never consider what our hatred does.
Or it could be too. I mean, not necessarily a hatred thing or an emotion directly, but maybe the place is trying to even out. It's trying to find balance.
It might be. But it also makes me sad because I don't think it'll ever find that balance. Reading the other day that the ozone is healed part of itself, and I cheered because I was like, yeah, we stopped using those chlorofluorocarbons in our hairspray back in the day.
It is one of the great wins of humanity that we fixed something we broke,
but it will stop healing itself because we still keep using bad things. We still keep using, the methane gas and
deregulation keeps happening.
Deregulation keeps happening, and so it kind of, and then it made me sad again. So this is the same type of thing where it's like it may be trying to find the balance from what had happened in its past, which again, true or false, it doesn't matter. It's got a historical depth that we may not ever know. And it may be trying to heal from that, but will it ever fully heal as long as there's still the possibility or the continuation? How many other people have died on this road?
Sure.
And they're going to continue to die on this road. To no either fault or no fault of the road or others, their own fault or natural causes fault. I mean, it gets pretty snowy up there. It gets pretty icy up there, and people want to go fast on curvy roads. We know, because again, we live in the mountains, and people like to fucking drive fast on these curvy roads in the snow like they ain't got no sense. So that is Clinton Road from my perspective.
So whether you're a local or a thrill seeker, the long whispered crumbling stone structures like the Druidic Temple, or perhaps you're looking for the coin-tossing ghost on Clinton Road, that you will find different lore along a 10-mile stretch of curvy and ghostly happenings.
This has been Folkloric. If you like what you heard, and you have a tale or two to share, not just about today's topic, but any odd or scary story you'd like to hear us talk about, send us an email at folkloricpod@gmail.com or join us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Folkloric Podcast. Please make sure to follow and subscribe to Folkloric wherever you listen to podcasts. It's been fun, guys.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us through Clinton Road.
It's been literally a road less traveled. Goodbye.
Have a good October.